Yo, what's up? It's Baby Draco, and I'm here with PUTINWORKTV, and you know what's up with it.
Baby Draco, welcome to Put in Work TV. We've enjoyed watching your journey and growth as an artist in the New England creative scene and really want to hear more about your story. Our focus is allowing our guests to tell their stories front and center without judgment or opinion. So let's dive in. How did it all begin?
Okay, so how did it all begin? Okay, so I knew at the age of 9 already I wanted to be a designer and a model. My goal was to be like Kamora Lee, how like she was modeling, and then she ended up going into fashion design, which was baby fat. So that was my goal. I wanted to be like her when I was little. So then, as I got older and I was in college, um, I realized like I wanted to take modeling more serious. So the end of 2016 is when I finally like did like one of my first shoots. And at that time, I was just like a whole different person. My style was different. I was still figuring everything out, and I wasn't Baby Draco then, but you know, we're here today. So yeah, that's where it started for me. 2016, technically.
Wow, so do you remember the first time you saw a model or designer that was like, oh shit, I want to do that, or like that moment?
There was a lot of people, honestly. Just like looking through like Vogue magazine and like seeing all these girls like in these different poses was like so cool that I was just like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I need to get to that level where they're at. Um, so yeah.
And so, um, were your parents or anyone in your family like super into like design or fashion, and they like had the Vogue in the house, or?
So my mom has multiple degrees in different things. She has one in fashion design. So that's where it came from. When I was little, my mom used to like style me in different clothes and like take pictures of me on her like her film camera and like have them up in the house. Like vintage clothes like baby fat, juicy couture, like all of that stuff. She would just dress me up in it. So I think that's where it came from. My parents are big on me doing what I want to do in life, and if it's not me working a 9 to 5 and just like being creative and making money that way, they like have high hopes for me and want me to do that. So yeah, like I'm thankful for a family like them because they inspire me to be creative and do the things that I want to do.
What was your family dynamic like? Like, did you have both your parents?
Yeah, I have my mom and my dad, and I have 3 brothers and a sister.
That's fire. Are you from Boston originally?
Yes, I'm from Boston. I was born here, raised here for most of my life. When I was younger, I moved to New Bedford because I went to a Catholic school there. So I lived there for like a few years when I was like 5, 6. And then I ended up moving back to Boston and went to a Catholic school here. So yeah, that's how I ended up back in Boston.
What part of Boston did you grow up in? And like,
Dorchester.
What was it like growing up in Dorchester?
Honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about it. I had fun. I was always outside as a kid running around playing football with my little cousins, even with like my friends that lived next door. I was always outside playing. Like I never was inside playing video games, like none of that stuff like that kids do now. Like I was always outside playing.
So, what was your favorite game to play as a kid?
Well, honestly, I honestly like to do basketball and play football with the boys, and when I was with my cousins, we would do double dutch. So that's like my top 3 favorite things.
Um, how would you say the art impacted your life?
Um, just like seeing all these people like that I look up to become like really successful. Um, it helped shape me into the person that I wanted to be. It took me a lot of time to get to the point where I'm at now, where I'm like satisfied and like happy where my career is going. Because like in the beginning, I didn't know what I really wanted to do. Like, granted, I wanted to do modeling, but like it's just like, okay, is that all I really want to do? Like there's more to it than just me modeling. I don't want to be labeled as just a model. So I feel like that's how like me just looking up to people like that inspire me really helped shape me into like the artist that I am today. um, just growing up seeing like different models on TV and like runway shows and like looking through magazines and just like seeing all that stuff, I was just like, yo, I have to do this. Like, this is something I need to do. Like, I'm not seeing it any other way.
So, who were some of those people, would you say, like, who were some of those people and brands that inspired you as a child?
First of all, Kamara Lee, even though Khalees is technically not a model, she's like biggest inspiration because like her music videos was always good. Her fashion was always good. Um, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, like that group right there, they inspired me even though like obviously they're not models, but they like had a big impact on me when I was growing up. Cuz they were like strong black women in power, and I was just like, that's somebody I'm about to be when I grow up, and I want people to look up to me and feel the same way.
What are some ways you express your creativity today?
Through my fashion, always through my fashion. Every time I get dressed every day, it's literally all depending on my mood, that's how I get dressed. Like most days I'll be like, okay, like I want to wear something baggy. It's just because like I'm in that mood of like, this is what I want to wear. And honestly, I usually always have my outfits planned out. Like, I think about it most of the time when I'm asleep, and I tell this to everybody. Like, I dream of outfits. So it's just like, that's how I get dressed every day.
What's the like most fire outfit dream you've had?
Well, first of all, they're all fire. They're all fire. Um, I feel like, so there was a point in time where I was on the hunt for Yeezy boots. Still haven't found my size in the Yeezy boots I wanted, but that's a topic for another day. But there was this outfit dream that I had with these Yeezy boots I wanted, and these like pants with like straps and like chains on them, and like this cool t-shirt. I felt like that was like a fire fit and these fire shades, but like I still didn't find the Yeezy boots. So so I'm still mad about that.
So, is it like you dream about stuff in your closet or you dream of like completely new pieces?
It's both, honestly. It's literally both. Like this is where the my shopping habits come in because I'm like I think about things in my sleep and then I'll wake up and be like searching for them online if I don't have it already. Or if I have something similar to it, then I'll just like do it my own way basically.
That's hard. That's working in your sleep. I talk to me about let's call it your portfolio. What's some of the like work that you're most proud of that you've done today? And yeah, how did those things come about?
Okay, so my top two most proudest things that like in my portfolio, I can honestly say was there was this shoot that I did. It was very editorial. It was with Telefar bags. That was like number one because it was honestly hard for me to like keep that a secret because I'm like, yo, like this is like I signed a contract, like I can't say anything, but I'm like, this is crazy. Like I can't believe like this is happening for me. So that right there was like I was mind blown. Like I didn't style myself for that shoot, and I was honestly shook because I style myself and I do my own makeup for all of the shoots that I have because the people trust me to do that. So with this one, I was honestly like trusting someone else to get the vision, which shout out to him, he really did, because like the outfits he had me in for it, it was perfect. Like I don't have any like negative like thoughts on that. And then another one I would say is my cowboy shoot that I did with Shelly. Shout out to her. That shoot was like fire. It took me like 3 months to like plan all of that out and like where I wanted to go, like just mapping out the location and driving to see where I wanted it to be. And then when it finally came together, like that's like one of the most like memorable moments in my life that I'm like, dang, I'm definitely gonna get places. So yeah, those are my honestly top two.
Heard. That's fire. So what do you try to give people or the world with your art?
Honestly, well, for me personally, I want to inspire the youth to just be themselves, be happy, be free, not work their 9 to 5s, live off their like creative like path that they want to live, and just make money off of that. And honestly, I want more girls to like be comfortable with just being themselves and not limiting themselves because somebody is talking about them or like has something bad to say about them in general. I just want women to feel more empowered and happy with who they are and not changing themselves for anybody else. So yeah.
Where do you think the desire to, and like correct me if I'm wrong if I don't phrase this right, where do you think the desire to inspire people to like be their most authentic selves comes from?
It stems from me as a little girl. Just like me growing up, like at first, and like just being the only child, like trying to figure out who I wanted to be in life, what I wanted to do. It's just like now that I'm older, I wish I had, like, I had my mom, but like I wish I had like an older sister or somebody that I could like look up to and like get advice from, because like I'm the oldest in my house, so it's like my siblings look up to me. So it's not the other way around. So just like my younger self, honestly, I had like, there was a point in time in my life where I wasn't the person I am today. Like the confidence wasn't that high, insecurities, all that stuff. So I feel like me just digging deep into myself and figuring out who I am as a woman, that helped really shape me into the person I am. And I wish I had that when I was like younger, trying to figure out everything in life.
How would you say you've grown from the person you were that you're referring to before you had the confidence and the agency to be like as assertive and just make your own choices?
Honestly, so it's funny that you say that. So last year around this time, my mom was like in the hospital and she was in a coma. So that's what kind of like the switch kind of like flipped for me, where I was just like, damn, I need to be humble. Like I need to actually figure out like what I really want to do. Like what's going on. Like we gotta figure it out. So I think that's what honestly really flipped the switch for me, is like my mom was like sick and like in the hospital in a coma, and I was just like, yo, like I don't know if my mom's gonna make it or not. Like now I have to like figure it out, because I'm like, I have my siblings that look up to me. So it's just like that's where the switch kind of flipped, and I was just like, we got to make content, we got to do this, we got to figure it out, we got to figure out how to get paid more, we got to figure out how people is going to take you more serious. I think these last 2 years people have been taking me more serious than when I first started being like a model and doing all the stuff that I was doing, because back then people didn't look at me how they look at me now. They respect me more because they see like I'm about what I'm really doing. So yeah, that's where that came from.
you for sharing. Let's hop into your process. Like you talk about how you have dreams about outfits, but when it comes to designing and like making a fit or just getting ready for a shoot, like what do you do first, and then like throw it straight to the end?
Okay, so personally, step one is just like making a list of things that I need to do before. If it's for a shoot, I'm making a list of things that I like, the ideas I have of like outfits, laying them out on the bed to see if I actually like them or not. Um, then it would be step two, which would be creating a mood board. Mood boards are my lifesavers. I do that for everything, including shoots, for myself, and just in general for outfits that I like and I'm like trying to recreate in my own way. I always make a mood board. Step three is once I do the mood board and all that stuff and I see something I like, ooh, yes, this would be perfect. I'll see if I have something like that in my closet, switch it around, and then that's when I try it on. So that'd be step three. Step four. I don't really think there's a step four. Once I'm set on it, that's it. That's it. We're happy. Usually, most of the people I work with, they trust my judgment on my outfits, so they're like, I already know, like, you're going to come correct with your fits and your makeup. We have nothing to worry about. So I usually don't even have to send it to, like, the photographer that I'm working with. They're just like, we trust you. So, yeah, that's my steps and my process of how I get things done.
How do you decide which photographers to work with? Like if I'm Steph and I'm a random photographer, I'm like, hey Draco, I'd love to work with you. What does that look like?
Well, first of all, I do my digging always when I work with photographers. I'm always looking at like not only like the people they're following, but also their work, who they've worked with, what they personally do. Just like all of those things is what I'm looking for when I work with someone. Because it's like for me, I don't work with any and everybody. I just need to see their background information of what they're really about. Because people can just say they're a photographer and they're not really a photographer. Like, no. I will tell you off rip, like, okay, well, you're definitely not a real photographer. You're trying to scam me. So, that's usually how I go about things when I work with people. And I ask them a lot of different questions too.
Who are some of the best photographers you've worked with in your career?
Here in Boston, I would say it would be Sebastian. It would be Shelly, aka Camera Girl. Y'all should already know who that is. And then it would be one of my good friends, Bethany. I would say those are like my top three as of now. I try to stay like with female photographers because I want to support them, but like I'll usually step out of that and be like, okay, well, this person's a good photographer too, and they're a guy, so I'm gonna work with them. So yeah.
What's it feel like to be in front of a camera and model? Just be a model.
Honestly, I feel comfortable. I'm always free. I'm always happy. I'm just being myself. Even when the cameras aren't on, I'm still being myself. When the cameras are on, it's the same thing, on and off. Like it's the same thing. Nothing changes.
So like, what are your top three poses or like go-to poses?
I feel like for mine, it's usually a little squat, like a little pose like that, or it's usually a little head tilt, or it's usually a pose from like the back, like usually like this or something. Those are my top three. Like if you look at my Instagram, you'll usually probably always see those as like my first post when I post something, because like those are my go-to. Like they always work for me. Like it always gets the angle right. Like it always just looks good.
how do you feel about the photographers that be weird in the city? And also, what advice do you have for up and coming models to avoid those people?
Yes, I love this question. I definitely say to all the upcoming models, just make sure you're paying attention to the people that you're working with. And if someone you already know is a model, like, just ask them the questions. Like, ask them, hey, have you worked with this photographer before? Do you know what they do? Just to avoid working with someone who makes you feel uncomfortable or tries to, like, take photos of you, like, naked and all that weird stuff. Um, I just say always do your research and look at their Instagram, please. Like, look at their Instagram, see if they have a digital portfolio so you could see like what their actual work is before working with them. And make sure like it's benefiting you and the photographer. Like, just make sure off rip. And if it's somebody that you're like skeptical about, like, just go with your gut and don't work with this person. And I feel like that has worked for me. So that's my advice I give to the girls.
How do you feel about photographers that slide in your DMs and like want to charge you to work with them? And that dynamic in general, like, should the model charge or should the photographer charge?
I just think it's weird if they do that, because it's like you're reaching out to work with me. So it's just like, I'm paying you for what? You asked to work with me. So it should be the other way around, type of thing. I just always found that weird. Like, why am I paying you? I didn't hit you up asking you to do a shoot of me. You asked me to do a shoot. So it's like, what am I getting from this? How is this benefiting me? That's why I just don't work with any and every photographer, because it's just like, you're weird for trying to charge me, but you want to work with me. So it's just like, no, now I'm not going to work with you. That's like mad unprofessional.
And so would you say it's best practice or like professional, whoever reaches out first is the one that if there is a situation where you have to pay, that's the person who's paying?
Yes.
Copy. Okay. What are some of your favorite brands to work with in the New England area, or brands you would like to shout out?
Okay, so for one, I will shout out Myth, because, like I said, I like their pants and their logos on their hoodies are fire. And next, I will shout out Clothes by Tomo, because, you know, I got the socks on and the hoodies and the sweaters be going crazy. And next, I'm going to say Halo the brand. She has unisex stuff, but all of her stuff is fire. And lastly, Camera Clothing, even though it's vintage clothes, but still fire.
What are some models slash like really drippy people from Boston you would like to shout out? Make it easy.
Oh, dang, that's a lot. Okay, there's a few that I'm like, oh, they so fire, but like, all right, so I'm gonna shout out my friend Emily, cause like she be going crazy when she get dressed. My friend Yola, I'm gonna shout her out, cause she's another one. She be going crazy with the outfits. In Boston right now, they need to know about her. Let me see who else. Who else be going crazy with the fits? Dang, that's sad. I mean, there's more people, but like I could think of two right now. But like that's a sign that y'all need to come harder.